What's up, guys? Nintenjoel here once again. Happy Halloween! Cheers, everybody! It is time for another awesome top 5 list. I figured I had one more in me before Halloween. Just enough time, hopefully, to get this video out. If it's not, you guys will never see this. But we got top 5 Famicom games because everybody else does Nintendo, so I figured I'd do something else. We're going to go for Japanese games here. 3 of them are actually repros because these games can be kind of expensive to get. But yeah, these are all games that we never really got in America originally, and they're amazing, and they're all horror-themed and very fitting for Halloween. So let's get on with this list. Let's check them out. Okay, first of all, we've got kind of a semi-obvious one to some people, but some people I know don't even know about this game, and that is Kid Dracula on Famicom. Very, very awesome platforming, action, side-scrolling game that reminds me a lot of Mega Man mixed with Castlevania. The mechanics work a lot more like Mega Man. You actually have a projectile weapon that gets upgraded through the levels, and like the first upgrade you get is actually a homing shot. But the cool thing is you can shoot in upwards direction, unlike Mega Man, which is very, very helpful. But it also means the enemies come at you from every direction. But it's a very fun game. It's very cutesy, but it's also horror-themed because it's actually themed on Castlevania games. So Kid Dracula, really, really awesome. Very fun mechanics, great music, wacky bosses, especially the first boss. I'll be sure to include footage of that here in the corner. But definitely a game you want to get. It's getting up there in price a little bit, but definitely worth seeking out, or at least trying to emulate. Alright, moving on with the Halloween theme, we've got another amazing, amazing game that a lot of people don't know about because there's an NES version, and the NES version is terrible, and I am talking, of course, of Ghostbusters 2. Do not buy this copy of Ghostbusters 2 unless you're some kind of completionist. It's really not that good in my opinion, and in most people's opinions, it's not that great of a game. However, in Japan, they got something called New Ghostbusters 2, which I have a repro of right here, that a buddy of mine made for me, and this is an amazing game, unlike the US version, of course. Just go figures. Thanks, Japan. This one is an overhead action game with 2 characters at a time. You actually play as both. Your A button controls your one dude, and your B button controls your other dude. Now, A button actually shoots your beam and freezes the ghosts and the poltergeists and all the wacky, creepy things that are in this game. And then when they're sufficiently frozen and your other dude is behind you, you press B and he opens up the trap and sucks the enemy in. And therefore there's one defeated enemy, and you have to go through entire levels going back and forth. It's very exploratory. Actually kind of reminds me of True Lies for some reason. Just the overhead view and going back and forth, and it's very, very fun, very addicting. I highly recommend Ghostbusters 2 if you need some more Halloween fixes and some kind of scary game. Also, it does follow the movie a little bit, which is pretty awesome. Okay, this is probably the most predictable one on the list, but arguably the best one on the list. Very good. It's an RPG, really rad. It wouldn't be a Nintenjoel video if I didn't have an RPG, but we've got Sweet Home for Famicom. Obviously, this is a repro of it, and a very well done repro, nice shiny label, and I've played this through completion. As soon as I got this game, I could not put it down. It's an amazing RPG with just unique elements. You've got 5 different characters, each of which has a different item that they have to use to help you guys solve puzzles and get through this crazy, horrific castle and very, very dark, creepy story. This is the darkest game on this list by far. It is creepy, it's menacing, and it's a daunting game. The fact that you don't have like a save room or anything like that, you just save wherever you want, kind of adds to just like you getting further and further into this mansion and getting more lost, and it feels really creepy and confined, and it's a very, very excellent game with amazing music, amazing characters, and just a badass story that of course they would not bring to America. Okay, second to last game, another amazing horror-themed game, but this one's like horror and metal-themed. This is obviously a take on Dio, Holy Diver. This is also a repro, and because this game is actually quite expensive if you want the actual import, but this is a badass game with the metal-looking dude, and I gotta say, this reminds me of Kid Dracula of all things. It's also horror-themed, so it kind of reminds me of Castlevania, but it's also projectile-themed, and a lot of platforming where it reminds me of Mega Man. So Kid Dracula and Holy Diver are very similar in execution as far as like controls and such, but as far as presentation, they're very different. Kid Dracula is very kiddish but horror themed. This one's actually very dark and horror themed, but with awesome music, awesome platforming. You get special weapons just like Kid Dracula also, actually, and there's like a magic meter so you can use your special weapons, but a very good game. The hardest one on this list by far. Okay, one more for you guys. Arguably one of the best ones on the list. It's a toss-up between Sweet Home and this one. Amazing, amazing import that a lot of people don't know about. Kind of rising in price. Get this one while you can. Getsu Fuuma Den. Oh my god, just saying the name makes me think of badassness and just amazing music. Getsu Fuuma Den is an awesome adventure game, not unlike Battle of Olympus or like Zelda 2 or like Faxanadu. But darker, way, way darker. You've got Japanese demons flying at you and all kinds of horror-themed stuff, witches, but there's also shops. This really reminds me of Adventure of Link, but in my opinion it's better, actually. There's not really an experience system, but you can get stronger. Your attack and defense can get stronger. There's money, there's shops and stuff. But man, overall it's a very dark game. I mean, even just by the cover, it's just an awesome dark game. And something that's kind of unexpected and something that you wouldn't really see and you don't see in the US library, and that's kind of a adventure, side-scrolling adventure game that is super dark and horror-themed. So I highly recommend Getsu Fuuma Den. In fact, this game is worth it for the soundtrack alone. I'm going to go ahead and pause right now just so you can listen to this one track. Holy crap, what do you think about that? That is some amazing music. The first time I heard that from Drunken Master Studios, he did a video on that game, I was just blown away, and I knew I had to have this game. I got lucky and found a used copy at a trade event, and it was like $3, but this game goes for a lot more than that. This is closer to like Kid Dracula's price of like $30, $40, depending on where you get it, but definitely Getsu Fuuma Den, one of my favorites on this list, and that completes this list. That's all I have for you guys, just some amazing horror-themed games to cap off the Halloween season, something for you to think about playing when it gets dark and rainy outside, and you got pumpkins on your front porch. Yeah, it's just a really cool time of year and a great time to be playing amazing retro games. So let me know what you think. Let me know what games I missed. Yes, I know I missed Wanpaku Graffiti because I don't own that game, but there's another honorable mention for you. It's a Splatterhouse, super deformed game, kind of like Kid Dracula. So there's another game for you that is supposed to be great, but I've never tried it myself. So that's it. There we go. Leave a comment below. Let me know what imports you love that have horror themes, and yeah. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, be sure to leave that comment, and keep rocking the retro games. Happy Halloween, everybody. Cheers.